You love and you learn, but you cannot fall victim to a love scam without playing a very large part in it yourself. At the end of the day, it's your fault. Well, I'll tell you what, when I first read that, I found that really intelligently wrote and very, very interesting. Now, no doubt, I think this story, well, it's not really a story, is it? But I think this is going to pick up a lot of comments agreeing with the guy and a lot of comments kind of ripping him apart. It's going to be interesting to see what comments get left. I tend to agree with most of it, especially the lead up into the Thai girl, you know, how the guys can fall. I've never heard the story about the Irishman. I mean, that's incredible. Right, okay, running out of time now, so I'm going to get into our third and final story of the day. This is quite a bit shorter, but it's another one of those stories, guys. I won't give it away. Not sure if you remember me, but we met a while ago on Soy 10. You were on your bike and were on your way to the park. You were looking for a place to live at the time. I want to share a story with you showing that even good Thai girls sometimes have ulterior motives. About 18 months ago, my Thai wife of 7 years was tragically taken away from me by cancer. She was only 42 and very attractive, picture enclosed. Anyway, on her deathbed, she urged me to find someone else that would love and take care of me in the same manner as she did. Of course, at first, I didn't listen, dating a few bar girls and freelancers until my real brain kicked in. My friend told me about Facebook dating, so I thought I'd give it a try. After a few unsuccessful dates, I finally found one that I thought would be suitable. She was stunningly beautiful, 50 years old and a policewoman. I'm 61. For the sake of the story, I'll call her Lucy. I thought, not young, tick. Not a bar girl or a freelancer, tick. And she had a job, another tick. A policewoman. What could go wrong? Anyway, our first date was at a restaurant near her house, which was quite far from me. All the way I was thinking, I hope she looks like her picture and I hope I'm not wasting my time. When I arrived at the restaurant, I saw this strikingly beautiful woman sitting at a table. It turned out to be my date, Lucy. I couldn't believe it, but she looked better than her photographs. Jackpot. The date went great. She was beautiful, pleasant, could speak a reasonable amount of English and looked after me like a king. At the end of the date, Lucy offered to drive me to the closest train station so I could get home. She let me kiss her on the cheek and asked me to call her if I wanted another date. We spoke over line over the next few days and arranged another date. This time, Lucy said she would drive to Sukhumvit so that I didn't have to travel. I took her to a nice restaurant, steering well clear of the bars and freelancers on the street. She knew they were there, but as a policewoman didn't want to be seen in that area, especially as she was once stationed there but had since been transferred. At the end of the day, she once again kissed me on the cheek and left. As you well know, real Thai women don't partake in aerobics until well into the relationship. It took 4 months with my wife who had passed away. We continued to talk over line and arranged another date, but at the last minute she got posted to the countryside on assignment. Here is where the story changes. One night Lucy rang up crying. I couldn't understand her, but I eventually calmed her down and got what her problem was. You guessed it, money. Lucy was short of money and needed 15,000 baht to pay her daughter's university tuition fees. At first, I said that I couldn't help her as we had only been on a few dates and had only been dating for 8 weeks. She started crying again, and this time she was wailing. I'm not a cheap Charlie, but I hardly knew her. She then said, can I borrow the money and pay you back? I will apply for a personal loan from the police bank. What can I do? In the end, I agreed, as I don't like to see a child deprived of education just because of money. Lucy stopped crying and life was good again. We kept dating for a few more months and all was good, except she kept referring to her daughter as our daughter. At first it was amusing, but at the time, as time went by, I asked her to stop. She is your daughter and not mine. One night, we're going to Chocolateville with the said daughter in tow. After about 5 minutes, out of the blue, she said, I need 30,000 baht for our daughter's accommodation at university. Can you give it to me? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. To cut a long story short, I said no. Lucy already owed me 15,000 baht and now she wanted another 30,000. At this point, she broke down and cried, and I mean she really cried. Her daughter, who was in the back seat, was more worried about playing on her phone. I said, "What about the loan? Can't you add 30,000 baht to it?" The next sentence nearly floored me. Lucy replied, "The bank turned me down for my application." I asked, "When were you going to tell me? What about my 15,000 baht? When will I get it back?" At this point, she cried harder. "I thought you loved me and all you can talk about is the loan." At this point, I just said, "Let me out of the car. I'll find my own way home." She refused. She locked the doors. Only when she arrived at our destination did she open the doors. I wasn't going to wait around. I left, found a taxi and went home. I tried calling and messaging her. All she said was, "I don't have money and I can't pay you back." After a few days, she blocked me. I dodged a bullet. I was telling a friend who said she may give you problems by falsifying a police report or telling immigration to cancel your visa. Hell, I'd never thought of that. Fast forward a year and no issues or problems have arisen. But people, just be aware, just because they aren't a bar girl, they still might be after money. I think he was very wise. He cut it off at that time there, because it would have gone on. It would have gone to 50,000 and 100,000. And perhaps she did like him, but just seen him as a kind of an ATM.